Do it. Do it. Come on, kill me. I'm here. Come on, do it now. Kill me.
Schwartzy, the podcast. It's a Schwartzy show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Schwartzy, the podcast, the Schwartzy show. I'm your host, Malenko.
And I'm your host, Alex. I'm your second host.
Nice to meet you.
And, you know, any day that we have
How did you guess?
is a special day.
Yeah.
And today is such a day.
Today we have our next prime minister.
Probably not next.
No.
That'd be really a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
thing.
Joining us all the way from our nation's capital, Ottawa, Ontario, is Catherine Abreu, the executive director
Catherine Abreu.
the executive director of Climate Action Network Canada.
Oh yeah, this is our first celebrity guest.
Yes, this is our first celebrity guest. It's true.
Whatever. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Right just above Tom Noonan is Catherine Abreu. Then Tom is gonna.
Also, I should say more importantly, Catherine is my oldest and dearest friend.
Yeah.
We've known each other for over 20 years now.
And my oldest and dearest enemy. We've known each other for 20 years now.
But we've settled into a friendly, combative
Yeah, a friend of me.
Yeah. We've got a solid frenemy situation happening.
Also, I should mention probably that Catherine goes under the moniker of DJ Goldilocks.
Oh, it's true.
For her DJing. Book her for your next private event.
Yeah. Don't do that, maybe.
So happy to have you with us today.
It's awesome to be here. I'm really excited to do this with you guys.
And you had expressed specific interest in our movie today, Twins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why is that?
I mean, that era of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Twins, Junior, Kindergarten Cop, I just have the most nostalgic love for those films.
Sure.
I watched them all when they were being rebroadcast on CTV.
Yeah.
A couple of years after they were made. And yeah, I just Twins was something that I loved. I thought it was hilarious as a 6-year-old.
So you're into comedy, Schwartzy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also into action, Schwartzy. I love a good Predator.
Yeah, for sure.
Who doesn't love a good Predator?
You mean the only good Predator? One?
Before we get started, guys, can I wanted to introduce a new segment to the show. And I think it dovetails perfectly into something that I want to bring up that we didn't bring up on the Predator episode. But the new segment I wanted to introduce is called Thirsty for More. And Thirsty for More is, I got the idea from a couple episodes back. It's when we go on a tangent that's tangentially related. It's the Thirsty for More.
I like the introductions. I feel like you have such a need to be no, it has to be formal. It has to be introduced. You can't just plug it in.
So wait, are you actually not introducing a new segment, but you're naming something that you do regularly?
We're naming an already segment, yes. You're
but
totally
is it
right.
even a segment or just a thing? Tangents aren't generally relegated to a specific portion of a show.
Hey, listen.
I take issue with your use of the word segment, Malenko.
It'd be hilarious if we just cut your microphone and continue. So we got rid of Catherine.
Just slowly pulling back my microphone by the cord.
My today's Thirsty for More.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
Is The One. Remember, it's The One.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
It's The One is something that Alex and I used to say whenever we would watch a TV show that had segments from episodes cut into the opening sequence.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever we would see the episode with the sequence from the opening segment,
it's The One.
we would say, it's The One.
Yeah,
but we would
totally.
really say it magically always like that. So one thing I didn't say is that our opening music for Schwartzy the podcast has a clip from Predator, and we didn't even talk about that clip on the Predator episode. Mm-hmm. It's the one where he says, "Kill me, I'm here. Come on, kill me now."
Yeah, it's The One.
And it's The One.
Yeah.
It's The One.
Majestic.
Yeah. And also,
majestic.
I didn't do my Predator impression, which is fuck.
I'm on the spot.
Whoa, shit, I can't do it.
You can't do it.
Whoa, my God.
Is it because you're stretching out your neck weird?
Whoa. Wow.
It's okay.
You can just put it
Just
in later,
edit that
dude.
part out.
Yeah, just edit it out. Or leave it in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why can't I do it?
probably because you're putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Let's start this goddamn thing.
Directed by Ivan Reitman, Twins is Arnold Schwarzenegger's. It's credited as his first comedy, but we know as true Schwartzy fans that before he did any of the golden era Schwartzy, he was in several comedies. So
Yeah, I mean, Hercules in New York is like a comedy.
it's a comedy. Yeah. And
right?
he yeah.
And he's funny.
Yeah, totally.
Well, he's not funny in that movie. He's like a brick in that movie.
But this movie, okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the difference is not that he's funny. But the movie itself has some funny moments.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really nice. I like reflecting on it. It was like
We open up with an underground dungeon
with twinkly fairy tale music.
Yeah, exactly.
and the German voiceover, or a German accented voiceover.
Can we talk about the accents?
Yeah, we absolutely can talk about the accents.
Because it opens saying that it's a U.S. Army funded project to
Yes.
create the perfect human, but then all the accents are like German or Soviet, and it's
So
like,
who do we know in history that wanted to create the perfect human?
Not just that, but also everybody like was brought over after World War II. Like all the scientists,
All
were
the
just
Nazi
brought over.
I
scientists.
know it kind of felt like an unintentional reference to the like advent of the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it totally was, because age-wise, like they're supposed to be turning 35, and if we're to believe this is set in 1988, then they would have been perfect sort of post-war children, right?
right. Anyway, the U.S. funding is going to some secret German operation. That's
Yeah,
what
for
we
sure.
learned at the
For
beginning
sure.
of this movie.
Yeah.
But this is also the first time his accent has ever been justified in a movie ever, because he's always played as just like a regular American Joe in
So-
most movies.
I was going to ask you guys about this. Are we meant to believe that he has the accent because
Because he was
his
ro-
father figure?
Totally.
Yeah.
I totally believe that.
Oh my God. I also need to get back to the father figure like toward the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we're definitely going to talk a lot about the father figure. The voiceover says that Julius Benedict has just turned 35, and he's going to find out some things. I mean, he knew that he was a government project, but what he didn't know is that he has a twin brother. Ta-da!
What's the crazier thing for you to not have known?
I think definitely that you're a government like
Yeah.
embryo.
But I feel like if you're normalized in that, like he knew from the beginning, right? Whereas if you have a brother, it's like, whoa, I have family?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to introduce you to my family.
Okay, so I mean, I thought this movie could be a prequel to the eugenics wars of Star Trek universe.
I thought it could be a prequel to Biodome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It feels very like in that same vein of movie.
It was made after Biodome. though. It's an interquel, a postquel.
Was it made after Biodome?
I think so. When
No,
was Biodome
Biodome
made?
came out in the
I don't
90s.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
90s.
I thought
We gotta
Biodome
look this
came out.
up.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore is a solid 90s.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, definitely. The Weesto.
We some little juice.
Can we do a guest podcast where it's actually a Pauly Shore movie?
Yeah.
And it's mostly just us trying to
well,
do Pauly Shore.
We're thinking of ways to like extend this podcast beyond just the Schwartzy. So definitely Pauly Shore
Next
is an
logical
option.
choice.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Guys, how much did you love the like beaker of cum that they poured out?
Fully a beaker of Can I just say that when they were first of all introducing all the men as distinguished men, and then it just looks like a gangbang. It looks fully like they're just like preparing this girl with like these gross old men.
It did look like that, but they were really preparing for a photo, and I was like, "This is your genetic best." Like
Seriously,
I was like, "These are all
wrote
just like
that
weird
down.
old dudes."
I was like, old dudes. I wrote down.
I read all these distinguished men, quote unquote, are all gross, and none of them seem physically amazing or distinguished.
And they're all like clearly out of breath when they're on those exercise machines.
So the joke is, or not the joke, but I guess the point is that Schwartzy has 6 fathers, that both Schwartzy and Danny DeVito have 6 fathers.
Also, apparently, in order to have 6 people's DNA, they all just need to come in a cup and then
and they boil it.
There's a questionable understanding of science shown in this film.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also, the fact that Heather Graham is in this movie. Holy shit, Heather Graham.
How did you guess?
How did you guess Heather Graham uncredited in this movie?
Oh my god.
As the mom, yeah.
And at this point, she was this was right before Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
right.
So she wasn't at the Twin Peaks of her career.
God.
Nice.
Okay, the genetically superior fathers, I'm sorry. That's can we please talk about that for a second? One of them is some pimp daddy type. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
With the open collar?
Totally.
Love
Yeah,
that
I mean,
guy.
it's the best of the best, man.
And they're all white.
Yes, they are all white.
Yeah.
There's no way that your genetic best is all white
yeah.
male, cisgender, I mean,
All of it.
since 1988.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they would probably retcon that for triplets because the third brother would be Eddie Murphy.
Right.
So it'd be he'd be funny. They'd be funny too.
Oh,
right?
they'd be like, we also lied about your 7th father.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Whoa, that would be amazing. That is fully how they would introduce that. We also lied about this. And they'd be
because
both.
because racism.
Yeah.
I love the reveal of the twins with the clearly 7-month-old baby next to the Danny DeVito baby. And they put the names under the respective babies.
Yeah.
As if we don't know who Schwartzy is. That big, strong, blonde, blue-eyed baby.
Yeah, that baby's huge.
It's so Aryan. They actually dyed Schwartzy's hair blonde in this movie, which is a weird choice.
Yeah.
Considering that, they're all German and all of
it was mostly to make it so that he really stood out from Danny DeVito, I imagine.
As opposed to physically, in every way standing
In
out
every
over Danny
possible way.
DeVito. Of course, if Danny DeVito dyed his hair blonde, he would look exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They had to distinguish him somehow.
Yeah, exactly. No, you are identical. Solid baby editing.
Yeah, I really like when he first appears on screen, which is
at 3 minutes in.
And he goes, I have a brother. It was it really did feel oh man, that's how I would feel about my brother.
Yeah, aw.
It was really nice.
He played it so innocently in this movie. So innocently. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't have siblings, so I can't relate.
No.
No, I'm good.
I don't need siblings. I'm happy.
Danny DeVito was sent to an orphanage in Los Angeles.
Which is so mean.
So mean. I would be pissed about that. If I found out I had a brother, I'd be like, whoa, why did you take me and not him?
That's such a shitty thing to do.
And the German doctor brought Schwartzy to a deserted island in the South Pacific to help him do research.
That whole thing was really shady and creepy.
Right?
It's just you and I on this island in our biodome.
Yeah.
And the doctor was like, I just thought you never wanted to leave.
Which is such an outrageous thing to assume. It's you've given this person excellent everything and then gave him access to the whole world without giving it to him at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is that Schwartzy knows 12 languages and he knows all the science and history and literature, but he only knows it from theory. It's no practice.
Yeah. Story of my life.
Nice.
I wrote that quote down too. I guess if it is a prequel to Biodome, the truth holds in both films that only 2 men can be in the Biodome at one time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can we talk about the unsung hero of this movie? And that is Schwartzy's martial arts instructor, who is in the Pacific Island for some reason just to teach Schwartzy martial arts. Yeah. And he does one moment, and that's
I wrote that down. Yeah, that was entirely his entire...
Is he on the beach while Schwartzy is taking a raft to LA?
Yes.
Waving goodbye. I love that he takes a raft to LA.
Oh yeah, for
No, he
sure.
takes a raft to a
Epic
nearby
way to travel.
He takes a raft to a nearby island.
Like,
they
you
say.
know that he's told his dad he was going to the island to take a flight, but he actually just took that raft all the way to LA.
Fully.
You're right.
He was like,
You're
I don't want to bother
He's an
anybody.
Ubermensch,
Yeah,
like-
for sure.
It's true.
Can I just ask though, too, like, they never explained what the experiment was for. Like, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we're
it's
gonna build
true.
the human and then take him to an island. But it's like, what was this for? Who was this for? It didn't seem like it helped anybody.
And he's supposed to be like superior in mind, body, and spirit.
What is that?
like how do you quantify that?
Yeah, but this was like the late 80s when like that new agey stuff was kind of just getting cool. Like Oprah had just gotten really into angels.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she went through this whole angel phase.
What's the thing Oprah always says? Hello.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
You get a car. You get a car.
Yeah. And then she also has that thing where she hates people touching her
Ooh, I didn't know that.
or hugging her, maybe more specifically.
Oh, is it like Howie Mandel style where it's like, I don't want people to touch me? I have
No,
to-
she does this like amazing, like when she sees people coming in with their arms outstretched, she has this like signature Oprah move where she like grabs the, like she smiles really big and grabs their arms and like pins them down to the person's side.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's bold.
There's like clips of it on
I've
the
seen
internet.
that. That's amazing, though. Like,
It's
that's
awesome.
That's truly like an epic way of like forcing somebody to believe you're way nicer than you actually are.
totally.
But like actually they're dominating you in a conversation.
Yeah.
We cut to a woman lying on top of Danny DeVito and a man yelling, "Honey, I'm home." And then like the slapstick exit of Danny DeVito, like exiting from the top floor and climbing down the roof. Played for like goofy and silly, but he's like, so, you know, he's supposed to be a womanizer. And I mean, I have problems with this movie.
I know. I knew you were going to say
Obviously.
this. I knew you were. Okay, I get it. I get the problems. Let me just. I'm not trying to justify any of the problems in the movie. The movie, yes, does have incredibly deep problems. What I will say is that I appreciate at least setting up. This doesn't happen in any big movies anymore at all. Setting up a way to make a person truly like not a good person to arc into a better person. Despite this movie, he doesn't actually arc that much better into a better person. But there is at least an attempt in like an Ivan Reitman kind of way, which is like Ghostbusters is full of just shitty people. They're bad people.
Yeah.
And the movie works because they're bad people at the beginning and better people at the end.
Yeah, no, clearly that's what the movie was going for. Although at the end, he's still like a kind of like abusive, violent, weird dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, like every female character in this film is a child.
One of the things we like to talk on Schwartzy about a lot is like the depiction of women in these movies. And you're our first female identified guest. So like, I definitely am very interested in hearing your perspective on the women characters in this movie, of which there are some that we will get to.
He also immediately, as he comes down, catcalls a woman.
Yeah.
And immediately she's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not what happens
No.
in real life.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's got a ponytail.
Oh, I can't wait, dude.
Scullet ponytail.
Oh, dude, my balding's getting there.
Are you going to rock a ponytail?
I'm gonna fucking.
should rock
I'm gonna
the
piss my
bald.
girlfriend off even more than I have recently, and just grow it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
I mean, it's your hair.
I'm gonna George
You get
Carlin
to do
this
what
shit.
you want.
He gets a parking ticket, one of many, as we learn later on in the movie. And he's pulling up to...
Which is like, is that meant to be a sign of how bad he is?
I think it's meant to set up later on the fact that he like gets arrested, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He pulls up to Chloe Webb and Kelly Preston, who play sisters Linda and Marnie Mason.
He hates when we skip a little bit, just a little bit. Can I just say, Kelly Preston? First of all, Chloe Webb, quintessential '80s woman. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Both of them are actually like really good in the roles. They're just like
The characters are written shittily, for sure.
Totally.
written. But like, man, like Chloe Webb is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Kelly Preston made her career off of this
Yeah.
movie.
Did she?
Yeah. This was her first role, and she was such a... People like took notice of her so much that
Oh, I didn't really know that.
she became the famous... isn't she involved in that college paying scandal?
No, that's what's her name? Full House mom and Desperate Housewives mom.
Yeah. Anyway, Marnie, like, okay, so when I say all the female characters in this movie are like children, like Marnie is just like a little kid who's like desperate. Like the character as it's written is like a little kid that's like desperate for an abusive parent's attention.
100%.
Like that's like the relationship that Marnie has with Vincent. It's like awful. Oof, and like
such a description.
why does she like him? Like he treats her like fucking garbage, and it's like infuriating.
Wait, are you talking about
she's
Linda?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's Linda. It's not Marnie.
Oh, yeah,
Marnie's the
sorry,
other one.
Linda.
Marnie's the
Okay.
sister. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Linda's stoked to see Danny DeVito. And Marnie's like, are you still seeing this dude? Please don't give him any more money.
Yeah.
And so they cut to the restaurant they cut to inside the restaurant that Linda and Marnie work in. And Danny DeVito is immediately asking for money. And she's like, I can't give you money. He's like, come on, baby.
Because my sister just told me not to. Oh my God. And then how he convinces her to give her money, him money, is by making a sad face and growling at her. Like literally that's what he does. He goes like,
He gives her the lady killers, the puppy dog eyes.
and Linda's like, oh, don't growl at me. I can't say no when you growl. Like what?
She's got amazing hair. That 80s blowout and the
Seriously.
and the acid wash jean top.
She's adorable.
Yeah. She also played Nancy and said Nancy.
As he's telling her that he only has eyes for her, Bert Klain walks in. He's an evil guy that's loaned Danny DeVito money, and that's as like simple as you need to get with it. Just evil guy.
I mean, his name is like the brothers' names in the movie is just the Claim brothers, and it's like, oh, I don't know, just name them the Claim brothers or whatever for now, and they just kept it in the movie. Did you actually like physically write down notes?
Yeah.
I wrote it down on my computer. That's amazing. It's so tiny too.
I took 4 pages of tiny notes.
So both Linda and Marnie distract Bert Klain, but Marnie takes a couple shots at Danny in there. She's like, oh, that piece of shit? Yeah, he doesn't come around here anymore. As he crawls out on his hands and his knees, you know, sort of really showing us what kind of like depraved scum he is. Mm-hmm. But like, it's played so much for comedy. Are they forgiving his scumminess immediately to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
I don't know if it's played for comedy. I feel like it's like a different thing where it's like, like we're gonna love him, you know? I guess maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, they're making him cute. Like his scumminess is just a part of his cute, an inexplicable appeal.
The character quirks,
Yeah.
This guy's getting so many ladies.
So many women. Just like people just love him.
Totally. And like definitely, I think the movie is trying to tell us that like women love him because he's so slick, which is so shitty.
But then again, in contrast, in the next scene, when Schwartzy's on the plane and he's
yakety yak, yakety yak.
Take out the papers and the trash.
Your bobbly head was amazing.
I couldn't wait to talk about yakety yak.
Oh, dude, we'll get to yakety yak later on. But no, the fact that like this, the flight attendant just comes up to him, pulls his like ear pods out, and is like, I knew you were trouble when I laid eyes on you. It's like, oh, this guy is super cool with the ladies too, except in like an innocent dumb guy kind of way.
Right.
So Schwartzy's singing yakety yak on the plane on his way to LA.
The plane looks so crappy.
He looks at her so majestically when she walks away from him. It's so like weirdly fetishizy of women and makes the women so just serving the male characters.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Also, that scene is mostly just a scene to show her cleavage.
Yeah.
Like they were like, how can we set this up for Max Cleave?
How did you guess? About Yakety Yak and Clint Eastwood?
What?
Clint Eastwood saw this movie and he was like, hey, Schwartzy, I didn't know you were so talented. He was making fun of him for like singing badly. And he was referencing that scene.
Whatever. Fuck Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. I think Schwartzy took it in jest. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
How do you even know that? Is that like a private conversation that they had that you heard about?
Yeah. I don't reveal my how did you guess sources.
How did you guess?
Also, I'm really down with this amazing like suit jacket shorts combination.
Oh my God, I wrote that down. And then the scrunchy socks and his running shoes.
What is up? Like, why didn't he have like proper clothing on this island? But he had specifically kicks and like a suit jacket and shorts.
Yeah.
There's this montage of him basically eating an ice cream cone.
He's just like walking the streets of LA eating different kinds of food.
It's amazing.
It's the best arrival montage I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, he's got he has to work out all the time. He must eat all the time.
Totally.
Like, truly. But then he gently hands the hot dog to the homeless man. Like, it's so gentle.
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
Because I actually love that scene. I thought it was really earnest.
Yeah, for sure. And then he sees the bouncing car and he's like bouncing his head with the car. And then it cuts to the little boy driving a car for some reason.
Yeah.
Like it's like a toy car.
And the end of the montage is him standing in front of Chinatown with Danny DeVito, and they do the first of their like synchronized moves.
Yeah, and they scratch their butts.
Yeah.
Okay, but also there's also a moment where he like pulls up to a Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved that diss. I was like, yes.
That was great.
He measures his bicep next to a poster of First Blood.
And then it's like,
yeah,
whatever, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that was really
That was
good.
badass.
Actually, we haven't talked yet on this show about the Sylvester Schwartzy rivalry.
Yeah, for sure.
Really? Well, this is the prime time. Like it was like he wrote a diss rap
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
to
definitely
Sylvester
exactly what it is.
Stallone and like dropped it.
I mean, I don't think it needs to be said that Schwartzy's better. Like,
Yeah, I mean, fucking
like
Schwartzy
it's
is
not
better.
Sylvie the podcast. you know?
Seriously.
Sylvie, that's the
That podcast would be over in one episode.
Yeah. Like,
oh man, you guys are both lame. Sylvester Stallone is amazing.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
It's only in well, not recent years, but like with us, it was to give us a thirsty for more.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
With us, like it was like Schwartzy and Van Damme. Like Van Damme was our Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
Because like
for sure.
in Serbia they would play.
And Van Damme's amazing.
Yeah, Van Damme is amazing.
Yeah.
With his splits and his ass in everything.
Yeah,
Every movie
seriously.
has his ass.
Wow.
But the funny thing is that in Serbia, what they would do is they would buy rights to big movies, like one big movie with like somebody like Schwartzy, and then they would buy just like all Van Damme movies, which were terrible. So we'd watch those like there, and that's how we got sort of the dichotomy between those two as opposed to
Van
Sylvester
Damme
Stallone.
was like definitely really popular. He was really popular in North America, but I feel like he was popular in a different kind of way outside of North America.
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
Why is that?
I think maybe because the movies were a little bit more naive and kind of B movies, and people were just really starved for like North American content. So it was like shown a lot more at a more affordable rate
Right.
in other countries. And here people saw the difference in production value between like, say, a Schwartzy and a Van Damme, you know, like Kickboxer is not Commando, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And but in contrast, Sylvester Stallone, like First Blood is like another like Schwartzy movie. Cobra is also like a Commando. It's like it's got the same production value and the same tone and feeling. It's just got a different person in it, right? Whereas Van Damme was like, people would like, we would even watch those movies and be like, is this? Yeah, we would sort of convince ourselves that these were better movies than they were, but I liked them.
Me too. I definitely loved Stallone movies.
You mean Van Damme movies?
Oh yeah, and also Van Damme.
Also,
But I feel like JCVD could be like another spin-off podcast.
Ooh, that's
yeah.
a good one. Yeah,
totally.
We cut back to sleazy hustler Danny DeVito arriving at a parking garage near the airport with fucking
David Caruso.
Oh, I couldn't wait for CSI Miami's David Caruso. He's the parking garage attendant who's also kind of in cahoots with Danny DeVito. He tells him where the expensive cars are for Danny to steal.
Yeah. And
That's
then,
his hustle, is Danny steals cars and sells them to pay back his
debts?
loan shark. He's
For
got like a
whatever
$20,000.
reason.
Yeah.
We are never told why he has debts.
yeah, he's clearly like placing bets. Also, the fact that Richard Portnow Howard Stern's dad is in this movie.
Yes, for a split second, yeah.
Whoa, who's that?
He plays the guy who buys the car off of Danny DeVito. He's just like a that guy, you know?
Yeah, he's a character actor that was in one of our favorite movies, Private Parts. He plays Howard Stern's dad in it.
Why do we like that movie so much?
It's so good. It's so good. I think his tata liked it.
Probably. Okay, so he owns a loan shark, $20,000, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to get his hustle on. He arrives in this car. I had trouble with this movie, guys. I got to be honest with you. It was a difficult one.
Yeah.
We cut to nighttime Schwartzy, and he's being a bit of a pivot to some girls that he sees walking by. He doesn't have the like social, awareness to not stare. So he's staring at some women and he goes, "What a country."
No, he says, "What an amazing country." And then some guy comes up to him and he's like, "Hey, pal, got a light?" And he's like, "I don't smoke, pal." He like has to say it to him.
I thought that was like a throwaway to or a reference to Terminator.
Was it? In what way?
Well, in the way that like he tries to mimic human behavior.
That's interesting. Where he's like, "Nice night for a walk, eh? Nice night for a walk.
Nice night for a walk, eh?
Nice night for a walk.
And he has an "I'll be back."
He
in
does
this
have
movie.
an "I'll be back."
This is actually the second movie in a row where he's like fish out of water, sort of like foreigner coming to a new country, because last movie, Red Heat,
that's true.
He's a communist. We got to talk about this scene where
the pavement was his enemy.
Did nothing. Pavement was his enemy.
Yes.
I loved it.
Hustle, I guess LA was home to the outrageous hustle in the 80s.
We're starting from the beginning, okay? Hey, this happens to us all the time, though, where it's like, oh, I get irritated at him, or he gets irritated at me, and then it's like, so now we're starting before it has to start.
So we like reset, like, hello, everyone.
But yeah, it doesn't happen as often as it did before. Am I good?
Yeah.
Are my levels good?
How about mine?
Yeah, you guys are great.
Spending the next hour just making fun of my brother.
So what happens is their con is that one guy distracts a guy and then the other guy drives by on a motorcycle
on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And steals his bag.
Yeah.
Like that can be a con that only works like a couple times a week at most.
The joke is that Schwartzy's so strong that he holds onto the bag and then the guy falls off of the motorcycle. And do you know who it is that falls off the motorcycle?
How did you guess?
It's Schwartzy's longtime like body stunt double. The guy who says, "I'll see you in hell." The mustache, weirdly iconic guy. Yeah. In Running Man, the guy who's on the motorcycle plays this weirdly iconic mustached guy that goes, "I'll see you in hell," and smashes Schwartzy's face. But he's only in it for that scene.
Whoa,
and
interesting.
He's been Schwartzy's body double and stunt guy for years. So he's been in almost every Schwartzy movie. Yeah. At least the golden era.
Are they friends?
Sure. I think so. They must have been.
Okay.
He just puts so many friends in movies.
He loves Friends.
We got one coming up later.
Oh, I can't wait.
Excited.
He
I can't
loves
wait.
Friends.
He has his own, the guy of which you speak has his own drop. I got to
score some steroids.
Sorry. Okay. We should cut that.
We should
part.
reference our own hilarious podcast.
Oh my god, he slams the pavement so hard. I was like, he was like, he's got the light concussion, like, because Schwartzy has like medical training, so he's like feeling him up. He's like,
okay, can we like? I actually have a theory that this movie is actually a superhero movie.
Okay,
but it's
let's
just
hear
like,
it. Let's hear it.
Amazing.
It's not explicit, like, because I think both Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito's characters have magic powers.
They fully do.
They have superhero powers.
They're psychic.
They're psychic. They can feel
fully
each
psychic.
other.
Yeah.
Like, actually, what they created is like they created
the
like
first
this,
Avenger.
If this movie was made in 2019, it would be a superhero movie.
It would fully be a superhero movie. This is if you just made it just a little bit more outrageous and costumes, it would fully be a superhero.
Yeah, and like Arnold Schwarzenegger can like feel and know things just by touching them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
like Deanna Troy. Deanna Troy's lame power of being like,
being able to tell what mood people are in.
Sir, this person who's clearly angry is angry.
We cut to Danny DeVito trying to sell some socks. Like,
Yeah, he goes
like, these are perfectly good socks. It's like, you were trying to sell socks
at a store, at some sort of department store,
And like a clearly like greasy box.
Oh, such a greasy box. But then the cop gives him another ticket, and Danny DeVito,
because he's parked in. They use the word handicapped so many times in this movie.
I don't know. Is handicap not good?
It's not okay.
Handicap parking is not good.
No, it's disabled. I think
Disabled,
is like
yeah.
what you say. Yeah.
I thought handicap stalls and
Handicap
handicap
is-
parking was okay.
I would say accessible, like accessible bathrooms, accessible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It made me so uncomfortable.
But the fact that he goes, he's like, the cop's like, you're in a handicap zone, and he goes, do I look normal to you? And it's like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Danny DeVito's lost it over a $53 ticket.
And the cop's like, no, you don't look normal to me, but you still need a pass.
Oh yeah, he like fully accepts it.
Also, when Danny DeVito walks to his car, he turns towards the camera, and they fully ADR handicap my ass, not moving his mouth at all. He's just not moving his mouth. And
Oh,
it's
I
just
didn't
like
notice that.
overdubbed. I thought you would. I wrote that down specifically because I was like,
I didn't
I
notice.
feel like I was gonna like this.
I didn't notice the ADR. I love noticing that. I'll have to rewatch it. Let's not gloss over the fact that Danny DeVito gets arrested because he has over 200 unpaid parking tickets.
Right. Yeah.
And next scene, we cut to Schwartzy in the orphanage.
That was great. And we get Frances Bay as Mother Superior, the old woman who always plays a grandma or an old mom.
Yeah, she's the Marble Rye lady from Seinfeld.
She's the Marble
Shut
Rye.
up, you old bag.
Someone help!
Shut up, you old pig!
Yeah, I'm down. I was glad to see her in this movie.
She's such a delight. And I love the way when Schwartzy's like innocently being like, oh, my brother would sleep here because it's so close to
It's close to the fire extinguisher where you can save all the children and pull the fire alarm. He's such a Mary Sue in this movie.
Gary Stu.
Also, though, that line that the sister says, where she's like, "I'm sure God had a purpose when He made Vince."
Oh my God, she has so many like vicious lines about him. Like the thing is, okay, here was when like
God's plan didn't include chess and poetry. That's what it was.
Oh my God, yeah. I wrote that down too, chess and poetry. But the fact that like Danny DeVito had like such a comparatively shitty life to this person, like it doesn't justify any of his behavior, but it does add like a surprising amount of context to like this like philosophical notion of like, oh, nature is the thing that determines who you are.
There was such a great scene where Schwartzy's like, oh, he's so happy in this photo. And she's like, yeah, because he was banging that nun.
Okay, and then Vincent later says that, he's 12 years old and loses his virginity to his biology teacher who's a nun, which is gross.
Yeah.
12 years old.
Fully problematic.
And it's said in this like boastful way, like, oh, I macked on a nun when I was 12. Like 12 is really young.
So much gay panic. I was going to mention the gay
There's
panic.
so much
Lots
gay
of gay
panic in this
panic.
movie.
We're coming up on a gay panic scene, in fact.
That's why, yeah.
Schwartzy realizes that the only place that his brother could be is in jail because that's what the nun tells him. And he
uses his magical superhero twin sensing
His deductive
feelers.
abilities.
And we get this cool fake out where Schwartzy thinks the muscly guy walking through the jail area is his brother.
I love
and
that.
he longingly looks towards the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, muscle-bound guy. And then this like troll walks around the corner.
And he's like shocked, and he plays the shock amazingly.
Oh, he's so good. And there's a fun little moment where they like mirror their emotions as like how they sit down. They sit down in the same way, much like twins would in real life.
That's how you can tell they're twins.
Oh, obviously.
When you see them in the wild.
In the wild. No, but the interesting thing is that he goes to the security guard and like it mouths the fact that like, I'm looking for Vincent. And he's like, that's him, pal. Right. But then turns to him and is still like,
he's so happy.
It's my brother. It is. Like, it doesn't matter that he's not the muscly guy. No, this is my brother. It was really nice. Like all the, what I was saying was, I guess like in my mind, all the things that I was like super into about this movie, what made me love it so much was the fact that it was like, he doesn't,
no, it's sweet.
He loves him so much.
So many times in this movie, they play the reveal of the brother or the son or the like whatever as a like, you're fucking lying to me to get something out of me, because Danny DeVito's like, okay, the Clanes sent you, they can at least wait until I get out of jail, fuck you, buddy. And he's like, no, I'm actually just your brother.
Also, is it the Clanes?
It's the Clanes.
It was the Claims.
No, it's the Clanes.
I thought it was the McClanes, so
all of us different things.
I watched it with the caption, so I think I'm right.
I also wrote down McClanes several times.
We should all just individually call them what we call them.
I'm probably going to call them the McClanes.
So Danny, being the piece of shit that he is like, all right then, brother, bail me out of prison. Money talks.
And bullshit walks.
That's it. And he's like,
how can bullshit walk?
I also really like that all fish out of water stories do this, where sometimes they're geniuses at a thing and sometimes they're just like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's like, what do you mean you don't know? You don't know what a phone is? Like,
and Schwartzy continues being so innocent and encouraging. And he's like, I'm your brother, Vincent. I love you. And he's like, all right, cut it down with the love crap.
Yeah. First gay panic moment.
Exactly.
Schwartzy helps Danny find his red Corvette because he knows that's the one he would have picked too.
Oh, totally. But then again, there are things that like I was like watching this movie being like, oh, my brother's gonna love this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know each other.
Yeah, we do know each other, but we do also have twin powers. Like, I don't know if my brother ever told you that. We do have we've been losing it slowly, like, because our hair is gone. Now. It's like our Samson powers. But I really love when, what's his name? Danny DeVito says, all right, twinny. Like, it was such a weird line.
It's like a slur.
I'm going to need some more money.
Oh. He's such a sleaze. I hated him so much.
I mean, I would be suspicious too, though, if some random guy came up to me and was like, hey, I'm your brother. And it's like, whoa, dude, like, we don't look anything alike.
No, okay, but the guy at least, like, already paid your bail. Like, be nice to him a little bit.
Be nice to him. I don't know. I gotta say, I was charmed by Daniel DeVito in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's such an asshole.
He is.
I think he's a really bad person.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do think he's pretty violent. Like the way that he treats Linda is like really reprehensible.
Totally.
But I also enjoy the brotherly, like I think the narrative of their like coming to love one another is actually really beautiful.
Yeah, totally.
And well done.
And I think that, like, just to like reiterate, and it doesn't happen, unfortunately, but it's like, at least to some degree there's an arc, whereas like, I don't know, in a lot of things, I just don't see that anymore.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Where it's like, at least he can be better. Because, like, you know, it does eventually get into the topic of, like, hey, this guy did have a shit. Like, yeah, pieces of shit grow out of pieces of shit lives. You know what I mean? Like,
in keeping with Danny being a piece of shit, he leaves Schwartzy, and Schwartzy's like, he's so full of energy. Danny arrives at his office where he's being repoed.
Oh my God, this was so brutal. Like when they start taking away his shit, and then he goes in, Danny DeVito goes into his office, fires his like secretary, and then kisses her on the mouth.
He sexually assaults her.
Yeah, straight up. After she gives him a gift.
He fully he pulls her in by like her hand and then like kisses her.
Yeah.
It's like, it reminded me of Trump being like, you just start doing it. They let you do it.
Yeah.
Although I have to say that I love that he's a wholesale patio furniture dealer.
Is that what he was?
Well, if you look at the door, he has a million titles, and the last one is wholesale patio furniture. And then when we visit his home, it's full of wholesale patio furniture.
That was amazing. I loved that.
I actually really loved that. It felt like a really good little cookie.
Yeah, it was interesting because they made so many references, very specific references. Like he's also like a sports
agent.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting.
The last task that his secretary has is to give him a phone call from David Caruso, who's told him about the caddy.
Yeah.
Because there's some bad guys wearing Hawaiian shirts that have left this caddy.
The caddy. Where's the caddy?
Right. And when they leave it there, they do this like really indiscriminate wiping down of the car, presumably to remove their fingerprints, but they're wearing gloves.
So weird. It's such a weird scene.
And they're just like wiping like the parts of the trunk and stuff. Like
It was such a bizarre choice to make because it seemed like, I don't know, like we need them to do something to hide their like trail, but it's like,
and so it confirms they're up to something nefarious.
Yeah, devious men.
Danny is really excited to go get this Cadillac, but he gets intercepted by one of the Klain brothers. I love how willing the 80s was to cast like men with male pattern baldness, like, and not even like cool balding. This guy's just like fully just like
gross balding.
Yeah, he's kind of gross balding.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's just like immediately starts to try and beat up Danny DeVito. And it's like, whoa, dude, like you're so much bigger than this man.
It's not fair.
Anytime.
Send someone his own size.
He just like, he like throws him through a door and like watching Danny DeVito fall was really funny. I laughed so much.
He's so close to the ground.
Schwartzy arrives in Vulcan neck pinches.
Oh my God. I like loved the crazy Star Trek reference. Like he Vulcan death pinches and then he was like, what does he say? You have no respect for logic.
Yeah, that was so cool. Awesome. I love that.
And then Danny DeVito goes, but he has an axe, because he smashes the window for the door for the axe and like starts like swinging it around.
Yeah, the fire axe.
So I was watching this movie with my partner Dale, and something he said at that point was like how much of an epidemic there was in the 80s of really obvious statements.
Yeah,
but he has an axe.
But he has an axe. Like in the moment that somebody is standing by with the axe, waiting for him to deliver that line.
Schwartzy, being the ubermensch that he is, throws the Klain brother into the elevator. And then Danny DeVito's really opportunistically like, yep, you're my brother.
And he's like, as long as I'm with you, I will not let anyone harm you. And it's like, it was nice. I loved it.
Okay, so as they're having that scene, they're walking down the street, and something that I like couldn't help but notice was that at 24 minutes and 30 seconds, there's this like extra couple to the side, like in the background of their walking down the sidewalk scene, and it's this couple like of this like young man and this like woman wearing an insane 80s like hair metal wig that's like really ratty and gross, and they're like grossly making out. But then as Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger walk past, the extra gets really distracted and just like stares at them walking by.
Oh, amazing. I can't wait to see
Oh my God,
that.
I have to scrub and see that. Holy shit.
That's
it was
amazing.
a hilarious extra moment.
So
I love background actors.
our first hint that Schwartzy has a psychic connection with Danny is that he randomly guesses that he owes $20,000.
Oh yeah,
he like intuits that that's the amount of money he owes. This was like a time of like junk science in the 80s when they were like, oh yeah, twins, they know stuff together. All that like eugenics stuff is so weird. The idea of twins were like something that Nazis were like working on to like testing twins and like
eugenics. No, but that's not what eugenics is.
What's
right?
eugenics?
I think it is. Yeah, eugenics is when you manipulate like.
Is it?
Yeah,
when
you
was like actively killing. Like
eugenics is like a junk science that has been used to justify.
Okay. Yeah.
When you like ascribe certain strengths and weaknesses to someone's like ethnicity or genetic background.
Right. Okay.
So Danny sees an opportunity in Schwartzy, and he allows him to tag along to the airport where he's about to steal a car, and he's like, you can just drive this car home, and I got to pick up my friend's car. My friend Sammy left a car at the airport. Really, like, he lies to his brother so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like
he doesn't believe that he's his brother.
But also he's like taking advantage of this like stranger who
Well, we've also seen him take advantage of other people and treat women like pieces of shit. So, like, obviously, this is the setup to his character, right? Yeah.
Danny DeVito makes Schwartzy think that Sammy forgot the keys to the car. And then he's like, oh, well, I guess the handicapped children will have to do without this car. Again, handicapped.
I was uncomfortable with. I was like, oh, no, not handicapped children.
Schwartzy's like, well, what about the handicapped children? And Danny DeVito's like, well, I mean, maybe we can break in. I don't know. Let's just try it. I've never done this before. And he breaks in
so easily. And he's like, beginner's luck.
Yeah. And then the alarm starts. And okay, how did you guess about this scene?
How did you guess?
Schwartzy actually lifted up that car.
Of course he did.
I'll tell you, I wrote this sound specifically. When he lifts the car, the sound that he makes sounds like he's actually lifting the car. And that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, it would be kind of shocking if he hadn't actually lifted the car. Although he did not lift it to 45 degree to a 45 degree angle.
So he explains that if you lift a car at 45-degree angle,
the car thinks it's getting towed and then it automatically shuts off, which I think is awesome. I think it's awesome that he knew that. And also I think it was awesome when he was speed reading, thinking that he would be able to drive the car later.
And then he's so bad at driving.
Which I really appreciate.
I love it.
That he like Matrix downloaded the truck.
Yeah, for sure.
The Matrix is everywhere.
But like, do cars come with driving manuals?
They do, but not to teach you how to drive the car. Which is what was so funny about him not being able to drive the car.
Right.
Whereas I feel like now, if somebody like The Rock was this character in a new Twins movie, I feel like he would have just been ubermensch. That he would have just been like
really good at driving immediately.
Yeah, good at driving immediately.
Right.
And it's like that provides more moments of like comedy.
Yeah,
we can do it. You know,
for sure.
Another how did you guess?
How did you guess?
Was that Schwartzy, the scene where Schwartzy drives the car on the two wheels.
I love that.
Because he flips it up because
he
he
really
can't
did
drive.
that?
No.
Shut up. That face he made immediately after was just like, let me troll. Yes. He really did that?
It was his favorite scene to film, and the look of like shock and surprise was genuine.
Oh, totally.
But who did that?
Well, they had the car flipped up and they were like filming it, and it was fun for him to film.
Yeah.
Because it was like wild and unruly.
Right. Okay.
But he didn't actually,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming the wide, it was a stunt, and then he just got into a car that was angled super intensely, which I would have been super down with too.
The car falls down onto the ground and Schwartz is like, sorry about it.
I can teach you how to do it.
Yeah,
and,
and Danny's like, you just destroyed my fucking suspension, dude. Oh. Linda is talking about how amazing Vince is in the supermarket that they've
while
arrived
smoking,
at.
by the way.
While smoking in the supermarket. The Mason sisters are shopping. Do they just happen to meet in there? Is that what happens?
I thought he, like, Danny DeVito
knew that you would be there.
How? There's no cell phones.
I mean, he's got psychic ability.
That's true.
But also,
maybe he just has to secrete enough of a substance onto a person in order to have like a psychic tracking.
And we all know that Danny DeVito probably secretes things. But the fact the fact that just like not even a moment goes by with these two people where they're just not talking about them, it's like, whoa, dude, like, do you not have lives outside of, not to like be like, oh, the Bechdel test, but like, come on, this is the perfect opportunity to have like a moment of like,
where they could just be discussing what groceries they need to cook their dinner.
Yeah, or like anything else, literally anything else.
What's worse is that Linda is convinced that Marnie is jealous, and she's like, if you had a boyfriend like Vincent, you'd make him a cake and then maybe you'd get laid. It's like, whoa. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, but then the worst part is Marnie takes that advice and bakes for Arnold.
Yes.
Like,
cookies.
Yes.
Bake some cookies in hopes of getting laid.
So Schwartzy has picked up a Playboy and he's looking through it and accidentally runs into Marnie and drops the Playboy. And he kneels down like way too close to her body.
Oh, yeah.
And
she's always like angling to get as close to Schwartzy as possible in the movie too.
That's true. And he gives Marnie the classy line of, I didn't know these magazines had these kinds of things. And it's like, where are you from? Or a deserted island? And he's like, Actually, yes.
A tropical island.
He tells her about his tropical island with the eagerness of like a vegan or a podcaster. He's like, let me tell you about my island. I take every chance I can to tell people about my Schwartzy podcast.
I know. I'm. People still will. My friends will come up to me and be like, "Whoa, can I hear your podcast?" I was like, "How do you know about that?"
We haven't released a single episode.
Just doing that buzz marketing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, totally. Actually, that's a good idea. Thanks, Catherine.
You're welcome.
So he's arrived just yesterday, and already I found my brother. And she's like, "Who's your brother?" And it just so happens that Danny DeVito is it's so wah-wah. And Linda shows up and immediately starts making out with Danny. Just like loves him so much.
Yeah.
Understandably, Linda's like, "Hey, Danny, who the fuck is this weirdo?" And he's like, "Don't worry about him. He thinks he's my brother. He's cool." I kept thinking to myself, if this kind of situation happened to me in my real life, every one of my reactions, every step of the way would be completely different.
Right.
Thus leading to a totally different story.
Yeah, like the butterfly effect.
It's not his fault. You know how bad he had it when we were kids.
Oh no, don't give me this bad upbringing shit.
Yes, completely.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Danny DeVito's a bad person, right? So he's like obviously going to try and do all these things.
They leave the sisters in the parking lot and go to Danny's home. And Schwartzy asks Danny if Linda is his girlfriend. And then he's like, "Is Monty also your girlfriend?" It's like,
What have you been reading?
Yeah, what kind of stories were on that island? Oh.
Maybe it's a merman.
It was merman.
It's a merman island.
Merman. It is a merman island. It's like the Cayman Islands, but when he says I have high respect for women, and Danny DeVito goes, "Oh, you're a virgin," I immediately was like, Schwartzy the incel.
Also, like having respect for women means you're a virgin.
Yeah.
That was so weird.
What the fuck?
So weird.
Schwartzy's like, "That's private."
Oh,
it was all of that was so cringy. And it turns out, why did if Danny DeVito's cat's name's Julius, why didn't he comment on like, "Hey, like your name is the same as my cat's name"?
he doesn't give a shit about that cat. They left at one point, like not feeding it. Do you remember?
Just left it to eat garbage.
Garbage, yeah.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh man, this guy's just not just abusive to people, but also kills his animals.
Danny DeVito makes a gross
eggplant parmesan
with like too much of that like shredded wood Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that cheese.
He makes microwave dinners, and Schwartzy's stoked to be drinking a milk and eating his microwave dinner.
Milk.
And they do that thing. They show their twin powers also by like doing
moving the glass at the same
OCD,
time,
moving the glass and plate.
Setting up their cutlery.
Yeah,
and they sing the same nursery rhyme as they're settling into dinner.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that.
They
That's
like hum the same nursery rhyme, which is like, okay, apparently nursery rhymes are like transmitted genetically.
Next scene, dude. I know you want to talk about Quato.
Oh, Quato comes.
The Martians love Quato. They think he's fucking George Washington.
Okay. This guy is a character actor. He legendarily plays Quato in Total Recall.
Marshall Bell.
Marshall Bell also has a role in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, the gay Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, I love Gay Nightmare. Cruising on Elm Street.
It's so good. I'm sorry. I know none of this means a lot to you, but we are so stoked right now.
Yeah.
So Quato plays Webster.
Oh.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about.
I remember him from Total Recall, of course.
With the baby in his stomach.
With the baby.
Yeah.
I hadn't put that together.
So he comes to pick up the caddy, and he's like,
The caddy. Where's the caddy?
it's not there. Intercut with Danny DeVito finding out about his various fathers, Nobel Prize winners. And Danny DeVito's kind of sarcastically laying out the whole story Schwartzy's told him. And he's like, So if my dads were all these special dudes and my mom was a superwoman, but she didn't survive the birth, and I was sent to an orphanage and you went to a deserted island. Sure, dude. It sounds crazy when you like list it out.
Yeah, I mean, but also like again, this is sort of where my views of him pivoted into like, oh, like I mean, yeah, this does seem like kind of shitty because like apparently like he believes his mom left him, which does kind of determine how you would treat women later in life.
It's not his fault. You know how bad he had it when we were kids.
Oh no, don't give me this bad upbringing shit.
He doesn't have a dad, so it's like, oh, like of course this guy would be a piece of shit. He's like, he even says at one point, he's like, he talks about a fantasy that every kid has, and he's like, like you think that a parent is going to come back and say, my darling, my treasure, how could we ever make it up to you? That was sad.
That was
like,
really
it was
sad.
really sad.
But I still
he says
don't...
it's a crock. You
no,
know?
I think it is really interesting that this movie, like of all things, has a pretty complex socioeconomic analysis.
Totally.
I think that's a kind of a quirky and unexpected aspect of this film.
He also calls his mom a slut, which I was like, oh, I was like, oh no. And he says, I hope she's in a lot of pain.
Slut shames
like,
the mom and like, wishes bad things on her.
Holy shit.
So there's an economy of storytelling in this movie where
you're an economy of storytelling.
Schwartzy wants to find his mom, and Danny's way more concerned about the money he owes. And just then he gets a threatening phone call from the Klain brothers, who have put a bomb in the front of his house and explode it.
Oh, I thought they shot at his house.
Is that what happens?
I thought they were like doing a drive-by or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I didn't think about it that much though, to be honest.
Yeah, it just happened, and then like it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We cut to the two dudes who were in the Hawaiian shirts earlier and
Dropping off
left
the
the
caddy.
The caddy. Where's the caddy? The what?
And now they're like office dudes with like name tags. They walk into an office, and meeting them there is Quato.
Yeah.
Mr. Webster.
Yeah. And it's such an outrageous scene.
Yeah.
It's like when he's like, hey, guys, it's okay. He's so random, dude. He's so John Lithgow in this.
And I'll have a nice Hawaiian punch.
Like, like honestly, it was like, whoa, dude, if somebody like this was in my office, I would immediately be like, nope, calling the police.
Yeah.
This guy's terrifying.
Also, like, those dudes seemed so much cooler when they were dropping off the car in their Hawaiian shirts.
It's totally
than
true.
when they're office dudes who look like lowly, like
schlubby losers.
Yeah, like shared desk space losers.
Okay,
don't even have a corner office.
We don't all work for the government and have our own offices. Some of us have to record in our living rooms together.
So Webster is a professional, and he's like, you guys are making me look bad because I always deliver the goods. And he's like, now you've seen my faces, and no one's seen my face in 30 years, so you're dead. And he kills them with a silencer gun.
Which is like so sad for Mr. Webster that no one's seen his face in 30 years.
He's got a good face.
He's got a good face. Honestly, I when I saw him in this movie, I was like, man, like he could have been like a really interesting like actor in like a by himself movie, like holding up a movie. I feel like he could have like carried a movie. He's got a charisma to him.
He does.
Can we talk about Schwartzy scoping out the address that was on Danny DeVito's file where his mom lived? And he goes to this fucking mansion where this daddy type, this muscle daddy type is like chilling with his grandkids.
Yeah,
and he's
one
like,
of the dads.
Excuse me, is this person home? And he's like, oh no, what does he say?
I think her last name's Benedict.
It's Benedict, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
The same as the kids, which is like they all have the same last name.
Same last name, yeah. Why did he get adopted and keep his name? Like
Seriously,
Vincent? It
makes
just
no
didn't
sense.
make any sense. But also, like, that guy had like a life and he's like a multi-millionaire.
I love the daddy. I love the daddy so much.
And he looks exactly the same as he did 35 years ago.
Yeah, because he was just
he would look that good. I fully would like. He was like had grandchildren.
He was like a bad 45, but like a great 70. So he finds out that this is one of his dads, and the dad is a little bit like, this sort of your dad, not sure really. He's like, let's go inside and talk about this.
Also, Arnold's Schwarzenegger shows up so sweaty to meeting his first dad.
So sweaty.
I mean, way to make an impression.
Yeah, because he ran there too. That's the implication. It's like, aren't they in LA?
Schwartzy's so stoked.
Yeah.
He's so stoked the entire time.
Totally. He also doesn't look as good in this movie, by the way. Did you notice that?
I thought he looked fantastic.
Really?
Like some of the beefcake shots, man, he was a little thicker.
It sounds like you really have a little crush on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
I feel like he didn't. I feel like he was just like a little looser. Like he wasn't. He just wasn't as like, early 30s, 20 something Arnold anymore. It was like reaching into levels of like, he's an older guy now.
Yeah.
You know.
Meantime, Danny's driving the stolen car, and he decides to put on some tunes, and he puts on the tape that the two Hawaiian shirt guys left, which is an instructional tape on how to get the merchandise to the whatever, and it's instructions that was left for Webster.
Beetroot McKinsley.
Yeah, exactly.
What a name.
Beetroot.
The name of the buyer.
The name of the buyer is Beetroot?
Beetroot McKinsley.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Is that a real name? It sounds like fakename.com.
I don't know. I kind of want to name my kid Beetroot now.
Listen to me, Beetroot.
So we find out that Marianne's been told that Schwartzy's dead, and she didn't even know about the other baby. And we find out that Mitchell Traven was the other doctor who ran the experiments. And the daddy says that this guy's a dickhead.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, dickhead? Like, what is dickhead?
I love the what is dickhead.
And he's like learning new things every day. This is like Terminator 2, except not as good.
And we cut to Danny calling the phone number from the cassette tape. He's calling Beetroot on his private line. And Beetroot is like a traditional oil slick.
Oh, totally.
Like he's got his hair slicked back, and he's wearing an expensive suit and a diamond ring. And he takes the phone call on his private line. And Danny falsely introduces himself as Webster. And he wants to talk money. And Beetroot's like, come on. Like, we already negotiated this shit. You can't renegotiate on me. And Danny's out of his element because he doesn't even know how much money's involved. And so he's like, let's maybe talk 20. And he's like, yeah, he's like 20. And we find out this guy's talking millions and Danny's just talking thousands.
That was such a classic mechanism.
Totally.
Yeah.
In fact, every scene that's like this reveals the mechanisms in the movie, which I actually really like.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of interesting and intricate setups to different things throughout the movie.
Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And also Danny DeVito's reaction of the 20 million or 5 million. Like,
it's 5 million.
You know, and
such an overreaction.
I mean, I would react that way too if I was like this scumbag.
So he freaks out about the $5 million, and he's been writing down all this information on a yellow piece of paper that he crumples up and throws into the garbage. They kind of make a character quirk for both of them that they like playing, like, you know, basketball with garbage into like a waste bin. And that plays in later.
Thanks, man. You're welcome. It foreshadows.
Just thought you should know.
Thanks, dude. I forgot.
Schwartzy arrives in his pink shirt and his shorts and arrives to find Danny and tells him about that he's met one of their fathers and he's really excited. And they have to go to New Mexico to find their mother, who didn't abandon them. She just didn't know. And Danny is having none of it. He's like, hey, I'm going to Houston, so I'll see you later. And Schwartzy's like, yeah, but New Mexico's on the way to Houston. Schwartzy knows his geography.
Yeah, he does.
They have to see the man Traven.
Yeah.
Professor Traven.
Who also came in that cup and is part of the Ubermensch team.
Okay, can we talk about that? Because he kind of looks like Danny DeVito.
Totally. That's what I thought that they were saying.
I think that was the implication.
And then I think his big speech to Danny DeVito later like reveals his own self-hatred.
About how he's like so disappointing and like terrible. Yeah.
Ooh, that was like super brutal.
That cut really deep.
Yeah. But before that, Schwartzy goads Danny DeVito into taking him to, and he's like, I'm gonna go take a shower.
Danny DeVito's gonna leave.
Fully gonna leave. And is only blocked in by Linda and Marnie.
Yeah.
And then the scene that I remember from childhood was yakety yak, don't come back, where Schwartzy's in the towel.
Yeah.
And like sort of pointer gun shooting.
Just like flexing.
Oh yeah,
flexing so hard.
Marty's so openly thirsty because she's like, because when they're like, he's taking his shower, she's like, oh okay, and just invites herself inside the room, and he comes out
and then
and
stares at him openly until he expresses like shyness.
And then when she turns around, she uses the mirror that's
she
there
angles
to keep
the
staring
mirror.
at him.
Yeah, like clearly this woman character is written by a man.
Marnie's DTF.
Yeah, down for fun, right?
Yeah,
that's what that means.
Down for the fun.
Yeah.
And Schwartzy's like, I'm gonna throw the cookies away.
What was that?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't eat carbs. Or
No, you guys. He says, I can't wait to toss them. And it's just like, you guys are so cute. He doesn't, when you toss your cookies, he's heard that phrase before. And he doesn't understand what it means. And he thinks you're adorable. And he thinks that accepting the cookies in a nice way is to say, I can't wait to toss them. Because he thinks that's what eating cookies is called.
Wait, can you please like explain this?
What is tossing cookies?
Tossing a cookie. I know tossing salad. I've never heard of tossing a cookie.
You've never heard the phrase toss your cookies when you throw up?
You've never tossed a salad before?
I've tossed some salad, but
I've definitely tossed some cookies. Wait, okay, I haven't heard that expression. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that's about.
We just thought it was like he loves
Serbia?
carbs or
he hates carbs.
He's feeling carb shamed.
He's on the keto diet. Maximum ketosis.
Danny DeVito's birthday cake is amazing. It has like 2 dinosaurs and a couple of gold coins on it as decoration.
He's such an ungrateful piece of
What
shit.
a fuck.
Yeah.
And to Linda's credit, she invites herself on this road trip. Because why the fuck not? Like, if you're gonna have a piece of shit boyfriend,
he might as
at
well
least
take
get
you
something
places,
out of it, right? So she, invites herself on this trip.
And then, of course, Marnie goes so that she can try and boink.
But yeah, what's his name? Then Kawato steps on David Caruso's face and is like handing out parking tickets, being like, I don't know, it's my first day. And he's so outrageous, dude. Like, his character does not belong in this movie. And he's so much scarier than people are giving him credit for.
And he's so much more serious than any of the rest of them.
So much more. And it makes it so much funnier.
Yeah, it's almost like there's like a dark, like, cloud hanging over him. Like, there should be crazy lighting effects whenever he shows up in a scene.
Yeah.
Where everything goes dark.
He's really wacky in this movie.
I love it.
So he finds out where Vincent lives and he goes to his house to intimidate him or get this cargo back. And he finds the crumpled up piece of paper with like all the details written on it.
Yeah, totally. And also the Claim brothers
show up as well to intimidate. Everyone just wants a piece of Danny.
And Webster just fucking shoots both of them. And what's his name? Right before he does, one of the guys has an amazing line. One of the brothers goes, don't cast aspersions to my family.
Well, you know why he says that? Because he makes a reference to their genes. Because he says interesting gene pool.
Right.
So this movie being about genes and not the denim kind.
Hey.
I love the don't cast aspersions at my family. That was, he like defended his like brothers.
My family.
I want to introduce you to my family.
It's such a good phrase.
Oh, it's such a good phrase. Don't cast aspersion. I'm going to say that.
Dispersions?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say dispersions.
Dispersions.
Marnie's snuggled up to Schwartzy in the back of the car, and we get the implication of him getting a hard on because his bicep rips through Danny DeVito's shirt.
I loved it. I thought that was great.
Of course.
Right.
The road trip soundtrack. Was pretty amazing.
And the road trip montage.
Like, it was kind of like a Full House sounding soundtrack. Like,
your impression is so much better. We just need to replace that sound clip with that's like the saxophone, right?
Yeah, and they always had to drive through seasons in the 80s. Whenever they showed a traveling montage, it always had to be at least raining somewhere or something.
Yeah,
That's true.
totally.
That's true. And when he gets his replacement shirt, the Born to be Bad.
I love the Born to be Bad shirt. It was so with the baby.
Yeah, burned into my memory from childhood.
Danny DeVito has a great line when he sees naked Schwartzy here. He's like, what are all these bumps on your body?
Oh, yeah. He's like, are you allergic? And then he looks at his back and he's like, it's even worse on the back.
And Schwartzy's just like naked in the gas station.
Yep. As he should be.
I
That's
mean,
not weird?
Yeah. It's weird.
They get to a small town motel in New Mexico and they drop the ladies off, and the two of them then go to
a small town where it's perfectly normal for people to just be riding horses around in the downtown core.
Don't cast aspersions to my family.
So they go to Professor Traven's office and they tell him the whole story, and he's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know any of this. You get out before I call security. And Danny's like, oh, well, let's go to Houston.
But also Schwartzy gets so pissed.
Yeah, he's like, this is the first time I've been pissed off.
Yeah, it was great.
And he kicks the door clean off its hinges.
Whoa, dude. And then the shitty security guard looks at the door and is like, is there anything that needs to be done? And he's like, the guy goes, no, not at all. It's like, whoa, dude, you immediately call the police.
Well, because Schwartzy shows him a picture of the six fathers,
of course,
the German surrogate father, and this little guy.
Traven says Vincent's name, and Vincent turns around and he's like, you turned out just like I thought. What did you do? Escape from prison? I was just like, whoa, dude. This
both the nun and this guy had so little faith in this
low
guy.
Expectations of this person. And then he goes, how did you know my name? And majestically he goes, I named you. And it's like, whoa, dude, this is sad. This is really tragic and weird.
So he takes them into the dungeon lab.
The perfectly preserved dungeon lab.
Oh, totally. That they closed immediately after they were born.
Yeah, because they were afraid about the success of their experiment, whose purpose we have no inclination on.
Yeah, they didn't say at all what were they making soldiers? What were they doing?
What were they doing? We have no idea.
We have no idea.
And he's perfect and he's been reared intentionally on this tropical island, but then they just let him move to LA to hang out with his loser brother.
What? Just like I do with you. No.
It's true.
Yeah, and they just made this amazing person, just a nice person.
Yeah,
that was his nice spirit. That's where the spirit plays in.
That's why the government shut it down. It was we can't have too many nice people around the U.S. Oh yeah, and then just they're in the medical lab and they're describing Danny DeVito to oh yeah, you're the crap that we left behind.
Yeah,
you're the leftover crap. And I was like, whoa, dude,
the embryo didn't split equally.
But I'm pretty sure that's not how biology works.
Definitely. No, it's definitely how biology works.
Everything I've learned about biology tells me that you can't just have an embryo with the leftover crap.
Yeah, all the purity and strength went to Julius. Oh, such a weird line.
Oh, that was oh no, purity and strength. And then he fucking Schwartzy grabs Traven and is like, if you're lying to me, I'll be back. And it's like, whoa, dude. Yeah. Also,
to do what? Kill you with a bunch of chains?
Oh yeah, definitely. Nice. That was great. I love that.
Nice call forward. Hey dickhead, tell us where our mother is.
But then Schwartzy talks to him outside and he's like, we're twins, we're basically the same, we're different parts of a lot of different people.
That was so sweet.
And then he was like, I was taken to a beautiful island and I was loved and protected and educated, and all life taught you was to count on yourself.
Yeah,
that was
sweet.
Oh no,
yeah.
Dude, no.
And I also love actually that in those scenes, whereas I think there would be a bit of a plot device in many other movies like this where the Danny DeVito character would reject those kinds of statements, but I actually kind of love that Vincent actually is warmed by it.
Yeah, he
like
likes
genuinely. And like he has that moment where he's like, Julius, I got to tell you that ever since you've come into my life, things have been really looking up. Like he actually just like accepts this like new positive thing in his world.
And he also says like you're the missing part of my life and I'm the missing part of your life. And it's like, no.
And let's find mom and we're the missing parts of her life.
I really like
that was
it.
really sweet.
And then they buy fucking 80s billowy outfits.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I love the billowy outfits.
That suit shopping scene is amazing.
And then also he has a line, Schwartzy has a line where he's like, do I look cool now? And it's like, no.
Have you seen your shoes?
I think you look cool.
And then he's asking him on advice later on in the motel on how to be on a first date.
Yeah, for sure.
And he teaches him how to waltz.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Naturally.
Like, where are you going to waltz?
Yeah, they're going to the club and he teaches them how to waltz.
Yeah, like the only kind of dance that you won't have to use at a club.
Ever. I like that scene where he this is also for some reason in my memory where he grabs his hand and he's like, whoa, let the blood flow through the fingers. Like,
they have also a gay panic line here too.
In this one. Yeah, for sure. And also says the line, don't grind your teeth. When he says that, it sounded like really genuine.
Immediately cuts to the like line dancing waltz.
Oh yeah.
That they do perfectly choreographed dance with the Mason sisters.
Just happen to be waltzing to some country music.
And they both grab their respective Mason sisters' ass.
Yeah.
And then
magically twin coordination.
Oh yeah.
With Linda, I get it. Danny's been dating her for a while. Like, they have a shorthand. I know when I can grab my partner's ass. It's cool.
But
But like he grabs Marnie's ass and she's like, ooh.
Yeah, totally. And then they spin away from each other and then both Schwartzy and Danny thrust towards them.
Yes,
in unison.
thrust towards them. Gross.
And then
that part. And they're like, they like swarm at them.
What? Swarm at them?
Swarm at them. Marnie's wearing sick earrings in this scene.
Amazing. I didn't notice, but I'm gonna look.
They're so good.
Schwartzy's giving them beer trivia about how the ancient Egyptians had beer and then people before that had. He was giving them a how did you guess?
How did you guess?
He was mansplaining beer. Could I just add that right before that, Schwartzy kisses Marnie. Schwartzy looks like a terrible kisser. Schwartzy looks like a terrible kisser.
In
every movie. He just
mashes faces.
He looks like a terrible
Use
kisser.
your lips, gosh darn it.
But also, I think he's got like, I don't know, does he have just small lips? I can't think of.
You have small lips. You still know how to purse them.
Yeah, that's true. I have tiny lips.
Or pucker, should I say.
Pucker. Purse them is
like the Titamila sour face. I don't think you can purse your lips, actually. They're too small. So Schwartzy says this is the first beer he's had. All theory and no practice. That's his life.
Yeah.
But then Danny gives him the creepy line of like, yeah, well, hopefully we can change that with Marnie, eh? I was like, oh,
gross.
But then he asks Marty if he's shit-faced, and that makes
everyone laugh.
I really like that line. I thought that was funny because you didn't know what shit-faced was.
I figured that the band playing in this scene was probably a well-known band.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought so. Like the way they were being profiled and playing this song.
Well, you could have looked that up for How Did You Guess?
I did look it up for How Did You Guess?
Oh my God. Ooh.
What?
Please.
It was Nicolette Larson and Jeff Beck.
Oh, wow.
Outrageous.
That's insane.
Outrageous.
Thanks to Dale for his help in looking that up.
Special thanks, Dale. Hi, guys. Also, like when Danny DeVito fucking says the line, "This woman is ripe."
Yeah, because they're in the washroom and they're like they both do something that I actually do sometimes is they flush before they pee. I don't flush before, but sometimes I flush during my pee to race the flush.
Yeah.
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 What were you gonna say?
Do you do that too?
Well, I haven't Okay, so it's hard to do that as a person who sits down to pee.
Yeah.
Because obviously the flushing mechanism is generally behind you.
Yeah, but you can do the flip around.
You can do the flip around, but also it's not as satisfying because you can't see it always. However, sometimes when you're on an automatic toilet and it flushes before you're actually ready,
and you
then
get some sparkles on your
that part's really annoying. But I do that. Because I don't want to waste a flush. Try and like race it at that point.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Just to conserve water, you know. I'm an environmentalist.
I drink the toilet water.
It's drinking water. It's totally safe to drink.
It is.
The Klain brothers
come with their cousins. One of the cousins being who?
Sven Ole Thomsen.
I got to score some steroids.
What is that?
Okay, so Sven Ole Thomsen is like this Danish or Swedish bodybuilder that is just Schwartzy's friend, and then Schwartzy put him in every movie. We have this thing of like spot the Sven.
Amazing.
It's pretty great. He's like
That's
just
so
very
fun.
bit part. He's got a very like sweet beard that's salt and pepper.
Denmark.
So good. It's
Oh
Denmark.
yes, he's from Denmark.
Oh, she's got to score some steroids.
He does say, "Oh, to score some steroids."
He says, "Got to score some steroids."
I got to score some steroids.
So the Klains are being threatening, and the Benedict Bros are like having none of it, and Schwartzy double kicks.
Oh yeah, that was a sweet one. He has a great fight face in this scene.
Yeah, totally.
He has like Schwartzy eyes. Schwartzy eyes.
We're just gonna grab that clip and just put it throughout.
You should.
Schwartzy eyes. Oh, because he does have that in multiple movies.
Schwartzy eyes?
Yeah.
He
He also has a version of Schwartzy eyes later after doing it with Marnie.
He does.
Oh, those are the majestic Schwartzy eyes.
He's so Riker in that scene.
So Riker.
Super Riker.
2 takes, Frakes.
Since this is a cowboy bar, no one cares that like 4 dudes are lying passed out.
I didn't even notice that.
People just dancing around them on the floor.
And they casually cut back to the motel and they're like, what an exciting night.
So many things happened.
Yeah, a gun was pointed at me. Like, seriously, like in her ribcage, a gun.
Yeah. And Danny DeVito's like, hey, don't wait up for me. I'm going to go read Linda a bedtime story. And Marnie's like, oh, I'm going to come sleep here because I can't be in their room. And then Marnie's like just showing all the legs.
Yeah, I guess like we're really meant to understand that her sex appeal is in her legs in this film.
She's super down to clown.
Oh my God, that scene where she's crawling across the bed and
It was
she's like,
so gratuitous.
Hey, Julius, good night.
But I think they were almost playing it for comedy where it's like so overt. It's like, hey, like I'm practically, you know what I mean? Like please.
And he's like, well, good night. I'll see you tomorrow, I guess. I'm going to sleep on the floor.
I'm going to sleep on this floor.
Schwartzy's all bashful.
Also, why was he sleeping on the floor on
the floor is more comfortable.
The island,
no,
though,
this German dude was totally torturing Schwartzy this entire time.
For sure.
It's apparently better for your body.
Is it?
I don't know.
That's something you made up.
That's what I hear. There's like a whole thing around it.
Accusing her.
I slept on the floor in Tokyo.
Did it feel good?
Because like traditional Japanese beds are just like a mat, like what Schwartzy was putting down in that scene on the floor. It did not feel good.
Yeah.
No, it felt fucked my shoulders.
Yeah, you
up
need that
so
Casper
hard.
mattress.
Yeah, seriously.
Speaking of Casper mattresses,
hey,
we're a podcast.
We're totally open to
please.
talking
We'd like
about
to see it
memory foam.
Inflate as we open it out of the box.
I want some of that money so that my brother doesn't have to cut this for free.
It's nice that they make Marnie kind of like, I guess, take charge sexually. I wish it was like with less of a one-dimensional character. But they don't really seem to judge her for being so thirsty in the movie, which is cool.
Yeah, that's true.
None of the like want to have sex is ever like a bad thing.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah.
Which is
And
like,
Schwartzy
I
says,
guess an up.
You're teasing me, aren't you? And she's like, a little. What do I do now? And she's like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And they cut to sex.
She's just like, shut up.
They cut to like
stick it in.
A train going through the tunnel. And then they're smoking a cigarette. Like, who smokes a cigarette after sex?
Anna always did.
Really?
I was like, gross. Please take it to the balcony.
Wow. I just can't, like, cigarettes are kind of disgusting.
So gross.
Anyway,
bed?
I mean, I've enjoyed cigarettes in my life for sure, but never after.
Anna used to smoke in bed.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing.
Sometimes
Cancer,
people
it's
really
fine.
want to smoke that cigarette.
And then Danny and Linda are in the other bedroom, and Danny's trying to do some exercises to look good for his mom.
For his mom.
That was kind of sad.
No, it was sad. It was really sad.
Well, because it's like genuine, right?
It was meant to be for Linda to say the line, like, your mom's gonna love you anyway, right? And like that line was sad too, where it's like, dude, like this guy is like, oh.
And then she like springs the like, let's move in together, and it's like, whoa, guys, like, please go someplace else and find somebody different.
Yeah.
Linda, I'm not that kind of material. I can't move in with you. Cut to commune, where their mother lives.
Their mom's been abducted by some kind of Santa Fe cult.
No, it's implied that she started the cult.
Started the Santa Fe cult, you're right.
Totally.
And Danny's just stoked that his mom's rich. Like, he's like, I'm just happy she doesn't have to worry in her old age. But then they're quickly greeted with a rejection at the door. And they're just like, well, let's sneak in. We came all this way. They see a woman painting and they're like, a painter, it's mom. And then this woman who's much more stern looking sneaks up behind him, and that's real Marianne. That's real old
Heather Graham,
who's another famous old lady actor.
Bonnie Bartlett.
Yeah,
she's really good. Both
great.
of them were really good in those roles.
Did like the world run out of good old lady actors?
No.
Do we still have some?
Yes.
Margot Martindale.
Oh yeah, but she's not that old.
No, what's that beautiful woman with the white hair who... I don't remember actors' names, as
Candice
you know.
Bergen.
That's not who I'm thinking of.
Also, Mary Steenburgen is
I mean, there are
great.
many. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway,
Dame Judi Dench is fucking...
Oh my God, Judi
beautiful.
Dench.
such a queen. This woman doesn't reveal her true identity. She's just like really smarmy to them, and they're like, "Hey, we're her sons," and they're like, "Well, she's dead, and you guys should leave. Bye." And so they leave, and it cuts back to Marianne, and she's like, those damn real estate developers, they think they can win one over on me. It's like, whoa, like that's a pretty elaborate scheme.
And also they claim to be my twin sons.
Yeah.
Like she like makes up a story about them, but then also tells the truth about them. It's bizarre.
And then she goes, I did have a son once.
And looks off into the distance.
That was sad. And I think you were thinking of Helen Mirren, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of Helen Mirren, totally. Something that frustrated me about that scene is that the whole time Linda and Marnie are like hopping around the cobblestones in their stiletto heels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also like very childlike.
Seriously. Just like following their men around as they do whatever they feel like doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And Danny's pissed because he's like, I'm looking for a dead woman when I could be delivering this secret beetroot thing.
Secret beetroot.
Secret beetroot indeed.
And making that money. Because you know he's all about that money. Because he says, family my butt. There's no family here except for me and 3 losers. It's like, whoa.
Hey, loser.
One of these people is your girlfriend. Like,
and the other's your actual brother.
Wow.
Then like throws their stuff out of the car and drives away from them and leaves them in the middle of nowhere.
He's so abusive. He's such
so
a piece
abusive.
of shit.
Like scarily.
And Linda is so nice because she tells Schwartzy, hey, he's got some mystery thing in the trunk that's worth millions. I'm worried about his safety. It's like, whoa, she still loves him so much.
Again, like a child with an abusive parent. It's awful.
Well, sort of all 3 of them are like children.
Yeah.
Because like Schwartzy needs to be taught. Linda and Marnie are just like children. Infantilized.
Infantilized.
We cut to Danny talking on his car phone to Beetroot. And they kind of say, we'll see you soon. And it's revealed that Beetroot is in the office with Webster, who's like a little bit like, hey, I know you just want your shit and you don't care who delivers it. So yeah, I get it. I'm going to leave. Schwartzy heads to Houston on a charter plane. and leaves Linda and Marnie behind to find his brother. It's so random.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a montage of him like moving through Houston, like using his twin sensing.
Yeah, his like telepathy.
Powers. And he steals a car, which I guess runs in the family too. He steals one of those like bullhorn cars, like the big boat ones.
Oh, yeah.
We quickly cut to ominous music as Danny arrives to the oil slick Mr. Beetroot. And Mr. Beetroot has some guns drawn and he's like, step out, Mr. Benedict. We know you're full of shit. But here's the money anyway. And they leave, which was a weird fake out. Like,
yeah, it's like, just kill him. Why not just kill the guy?
Kill him or just give him the money and leave. Like, don't be like, haha, we know you. Bye.
Yeah.
I kind of love that though.
Yeah, I liked it too.
But where are they?
Where are they?
Where is this place that they've met?
Some industrial place.
Yeah, I love the industrial place.
It's a cool set, but like, why are they there and what is it?
I would have loved to be locations manager on that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Whoever the locations manager was on Twins 1988, the movie.
Had some fun.
Had some good times. Okay, Mr. Webster is on the scene because he wants to steal that monies back from Vincent Benedict.
Yes.
But he's on the roof?
Yeah.
And he shoots the driver of the car?
Yeah.
Like the most indirect way to double cross a person ever?
It's true. Well, they saw his face and his joke is always like, if you see my face, like I gotta kill him.
Wear an eye mask.
Yeah, totally.
Do what most villains do.
But that's what also made him scarier. The fact that actor went out of his way to be that weirdly nice and jovial, but that sadistic at the same time was like, oh, this guy's crazy.
And Danny DeVito is running away through what looks like, Terminator dungeons.
It does look like Terminator dungeons.
Totally.
It looks like the place where they like made the Higgs boson particle or whatever.
It turns out actually they're making a black hole.
It's just CERN.
Oh, okay. We also didn't say what the equipment was in the back seat. It was like fucking like plane equipment.
Yeah,
it was just an engine for a plane.
Outrageous.
How could it be worth $5 million? $5 million.
And then Schwartzy's, intercepted Webster, and Danny's like, shit, I gotta go back and save my brother.
Yeah.
Because he's got the psychic powers too, which he comments on later because he's like, now I got these stupid psychic powers.
Yeah, it's so weird. And they're like in a standoff with Webster.
Yeah.
And there's something hanging over Webster that like...
Is it like a pulley with a chain?
Yeah, and he telepathically like links to Danny DeVito to pull the lever for this thing to fall on his head.
First he fools Webster, who I guess, given his outrageous character, would fall for this.
Totally.
But he's like, you forgot the third rule. And he's like, what's the third rule?
Yeah,
he's like really interested to know. And then...
I honestly feel like this character would fully be interested in what
he also seems really interested in their sibling dynamic.
Totally.
Like he gives Schwartzy and DeVito so much space to play out their twin conflict.
Totally.
And it just like watches them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like it's some weird like bizarre almost like OCD where he's just like, what is it? What do you do? Just tell me. And it's like, well, I can't leave unless you tell me.
And the third rule of a crisis situation is to duck. And then Danny DeVito lets down a pulley chain and the longest chain in the world falls onto Webster.
Every chain that's ever been made falls onto Mr. Webster.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's so outrageous.
And Danny DeVito makes this bobbly head when he looks at the chain falling down. He's like...
but the weird thing is like he's like... And like Danny DeVito picks up the suitcase and he's like, you've got my suitcase. And he's like, Schwartzy's like, you have to give it back. It's like, guys, you just fucking murdered a dude. Just like fully murdered
I
this
laughed
dude.
about it.
I was like, this is amazing.
It's
Holy
amazing.
shit.
Yeah, because Danny DeVito's like, we're a rich family. And he's like, we're a good family.
Yeah, and it's but he says there's a man with a lot on his mind, and it's like, what?
It's like, hey, maybe you should call the doctor on your car phone, dude. This guy's dying. The liberal use of head injury in the 80s,
dude,
like
so much.
Okay, so there's an article written about them in the Albuquerque newspaper, and Marianne sees this and she's like, maybe they are my sons. And then she goes to Traven and punches him in the face.
I love that.
I love that.
First move upon discovering that your son didn't die and in fact you had twins is to go punch the doctor in the face.
Yeah, not to find them.
Totally.
And she shows up at their new like consulting firm that they've opened. He's rehired the secretary that he sexually assaulted. Yeah.
Miss Busby.
Miss Busby.
I'm so glad that you named her.
That's her name.
That's her name. The weirdest line, which is, it's something like the Rand Corporation, but smarter. It was like, oh, the Rand.
Seriously.
Oh, Ayn Rand?
Yeah, that's the think tank.
Oh, they're libertarians?
Like, it's a conservative thing. No, it's a straight up conservative think tank, dude.
Oh, God.
And it seems like all they do is write checks.
Yep.
Like they're both just sitting across from each other writing checks.
Yep. So we get the reveal here that, Danny DeVito's turned over a new leaf. But then he's like, yeah, I returned that $4 million. And we know, the audience knows that it's the $5 million. So Danny DeVito is still a piece of shit.
But they only have $12,000 left.
And he kept $1 million and isn't going to tell his brother about it.
Like so much unethical about that.
We also skipped the scene where he gets Linda back.
He gets Linda back by filling her apartment with flowers, which as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, you just get flowers.
Yeah, you just get as many flowers as possible. And then your girlfriend forgives you for being an abusive dick.
And also sneak into her house to do that twice.
Yeah.
Because to put in the flowers and then to present as though he's giving the flower outside and then immediately gets inside somehow.
Yeah, so creepy.
And so the mom's in their office and she's like, I didn't know. Which one is which? I'm sorry. You see, I didn't believe your story. They lied to me all these years. They lied to you too. And Danny and Schwartzy are both shocked. And then Danny has the most gratuitous, like, mom. Like, it lasts for I think 15 seconds.
Yeah,
15
totally.
uncomfortable seconds of looking at that dude's face in a medium wide.
Yeah. And old woman Marianne was like, I can't tell who's who. Oh, the blonde one is Julius, obviously.
And she's stolen some kid's teddy bear to bring to her 35-year-old sons.
She's unethical as well.
It.
And then they just cut to them all at an amusement park with the weird choice of putting the doctor, surrogate father, adoptive father, scientist guy first. He's come from his desert island and stopped all of his research to have ice cream with Marianne and what are they supposed to be together now? Marianne and him? Is that the implication?
And they're all in white. Why are they all in
lacy
white? What's that about? At the fair? It's Victorian times?
And we cut to Schwartzy and Danny DeVito in tailored cool guy suits pushing 2 sets of twins.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, classic freeze frame credits with black and white photo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that old dude was the dad.
Who did you think he was?
I don't know. I was like, who the fuck is this dude? And that's hilarious that I didn't realize because I actually was also thinking well, what happened to his dad on the island? He's just there by himself.
Oh, hey, I've got a couple of just end how did you guesses for this movie.
How did you guess?
This is one of the most profitable movies for both Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger because they didn't get paid much up front. They decided to take money, a percentage of what the movie makes, which they had never done before. And because they knew it would be a tough sell, they were just we'll take a percentage, and they made more money off of this movie than any other movie because it was a fucking hit.
That's really smart.
Cool. Yeah. Guys, how did you guess?
How did you guess?
Guess who was supposed to be in this movie instead of Schwartzy and Danny DeVito? Do you know?
Oh, who?
Oh my God, dude. Hulk Hogan and Christopher Lloyd.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That would have been top-notch filmmaking. That would have made this movie
probably better.
Probably better. No, nothing makes a Schwartzy movie better.
Yeah, Schwartzy's pretty great.
Hulk Hogan and Hulk, I don't know what to do.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been amazing because like Christopher Lloyd playing a piece of shit is really awesome, and he's done it several times very convincingly. And also, I have an amazing. Maybe I should tell you this off air because this has to do with somebody I know. Whatever. He can cut it out. Christopher Lloyd tried to make out with a friend of mine, and it was like, oh no,
I don't have to cut that out.
Yeah, I know.
That's totally interesting. Fuck that dude. He tried to make out with someone.
Yeah, it was gross.
Gross.
Yeah, just like, yeah, gross.
No.
Yeah.
I know that fucking another how did you guess for real life.
How did you guess?
Dan Aykroyd tried to make out with one of my friends.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's gross.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny's gross.
Wade Davis tried to make out with one of my friends successfully.
Oh, was it consensual?
Yeah, still power dynamic.
Well, that's been Schwartzy the podcast.
No, come on. We gotta do.
You gotta go. And we're done the movie.
We didn't talk about how many fucking Schwartzys we gave us.
Oh, that's
Okay.
true.
Guys, how many Schwartzys? Go.
So how many Schwartzys is like how Schwarzenegger is this movie?
Yes.
I mean, it's way up there. Like it's like an 8.
Okay.
It's very Schwartzy.
And what's your star rating for this movie?
Is it out of 5?
Out of 10.
Out of 10? Oh man. I'm going to put it like at 4.
Alex, how do you
Still
feel?
has the nostalgia factor, but it's pretty bad.
I'm going with like 6 on Schwartzy's out of 10, just because it was like funny. Like he was funny, but it's like the mannerisms and the quirks and the like things that generally I think of Schwartzy as like weren't quite there. He was just like a charming dude in this. But then again, like, I mean, Hulk Hogan could have played this role and Hollywood Hogan could have played this role. It's one of those things that like, if another person could have played this, I generally give it less Schwartzy's. As a star rating, I would probably give it a 6.5.
I would give this movie a 4 for star rating, and Schwartzy's I would give it a 6. I agree. Like he's got the Schwartzy charm. He's funny. I'm glad that he got to like flex his comedy chops, but it just really like I think the script doesn't give him much to work with, and so it's difficult for him to be Schwartzy. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Dude, what do we have fucking next? Do you know what we have next?
What do we got next, boy?
Do you know what we have next?
No. I don't.
You better get excited because next is fucking Total Recall.
Oh my God.
Amazing. I'm so excited.
And we're introducing a new segment into Total Recall, Tata's Corner, where our dad, Tata, is going to have his own commentary on the movie.
Amazing.
Tata's Corner is going to be awesome.
I can't wait for Tata's Corner.
I'm here to tell you about my experience with the Tata towel.
All right. This has been Schwartzy the podcast.
Thank you guys so much for
Thanks
listening.
for having
Thank you so
me.
much for being on, Catherine.
fun.
Thank you.